There comes a point in personal growth where you realize you are no longer searching the way you used to. The urgency softens, the constant checking quiets. The need for reassurance begins to dissolve, not because you stopped caring, but because something inside you has integrated. This episode is about that sacred shift, the moment when insight stops being intellectual and becomes embodied. When knowing doesn't just make sense, it feels steady. Let's talk about what happens when knowing finally lands in the body. There's a moment on the path where you stop asking the same question. Not because you finally got the answer you wanted, but because something deeper settles. Today's episode is about that moment when knowing drops from the mind into the body. When seeking softens. When you realize you were never behind, you were integrating. For a long time, I thought that if I just asked one more question, looked from one more angle, clarity would arrive faster. But what I've learned is this: some lessons don't arrive quickly. They arrive thoroughly. Slow learning isn't the same as deep learning. Deep learning circles, it checks, it feels, it revisits until the nervous system finally exhales. There's a difference between understanding something and no longer needing to ask about it. Understanding lives in the head. Knowing lives in the body. And when knowing arrives, there's no rush to explain it, no urgency to justify it, no need to keep checking the field. You just feel settled. I realized recently that repeating a question doesn't mean you don't trust yourself. Sometimes it means your system is waiting for safety, not information. We don't move on when something sounds good. We move on when it feels true in our cells. Most people rush closure, but embodiment takes time. And when it lands, it lasts. When a cycle completes, it doesn't end with fireworks. It ends quietly, with dignity, with self-respect, with a return of energy to yourself. And from that place, you stop interpreting silence, stop translating signs, stop holding space for outcomes. You simply live forward again. If you're listening and something in you feels calmer, more anchored, less reactive, that is integration. That is growth that doesn't need to announce itself. You don't have to rush your becoming. You don't have to force clarity. You don't have to prove that you're healed. When knowing lands in the body, it doesn't shout. It stands steady, present, free. This is Sovereign Woman Radio. If this episode resonated, share it with someone who is learning to trust their own integration. Until next time, stay embodied, stay steady, stay sovereign.